Okay, hey everyone. So, this is also well. First off, hi. What's up? How's it been? I am in the middle of a lot of changes, a lot of changes in my life. One of the ones that is currently kind of eating up my time is Patreon, because they have decided that none of what made them a pretty decent service matters to them anymore, and I just can't. I'm trying to still decipher most of what the fuck they're saying about this stuff, but basically it boils down to small creators and people who don't have a ton of money to pledge. Fuck you. That is basically what this entire change is boiled down to. So yeah, one of the things that they've done is, instead of the processing fees and everything else that used to be on creator side, is now on the patron side, which I don't know of a single person who is actually in favor of this change outside of Patreon itself. I have yet to see anybody on Twitter defending them in this change. I have yet to see anybody say that, no, this is a good thing. I've seen people who are patrons going, I'm willing to eat the cost, I guess, but that's very few and far between. Not many people want this. Nobody wants this, and not many people are willing to do it. I've seen a lot of people lose a lot of patrons. I mean, I've lost 2. Which I only had, 14, so that's 1/7 of the patrons. And it's because they've made it so that $1 patrons are effectively, well, not even effectively, they are literally paying $1.38 because of the new service fee and processing fee that they have added to that. So $1 patrons are they're just gone now. People still will have it, but it's not a viable option anymore, because not everybody has a ton of money to throw around every month or per creation or per week. And $1 was a nice thing. It's okay, I can afford I can afford $4 a month, and this person charges per week, so I could do that. Or I could afford I don't have much money at all, I can afford $1 a month. When I was between my last job and my current job, which a lot of things have happened. It's been a year since I did this podcast. I ended up dropping pretty much all my pledges except for one down to $1, because I didn't have money, but I had enough coming in with Patreon that I could at least afford to do that for some friends. And I have a budget of a certain amount per month that is what I give. And that has been completely thrown out the window because of these new changes to Patreon, and I can understand that people can't do that, or they just don't want to support Patreon doing this, because this is fucking unheard of. It's such a fucking messed up thing. They could eat the cost on this. They could. They don't have to implement a new service fee, and they could eat the cost of processing fees. Now, I get that it wouldn't make them as much money as it used to, because they made $6 million in profit last year. They could afford to take a slight hit in that and keep their customers happy and act like a real business, but they're not. And they have really gone ahead with something that is fucking a lot of people over. Jeff Jacks, the guy who does questionable content, and formerly Alice Grove. Alice Grove is over, but he's a cool dude. Within the first 4 hours of this change, he lost 70 patrons because he couldn't. They either wouldn't support this change, or they couldn't, or they just didn't want to deal with an extra fee, which is understandable. A lot of people have been doing that. I'd have to go look through my Twitter to find it, but there was another creator who, they just showed a screenshot of all the it was Chris Straub. He just showed a screenshot of all the people he's losing, and like that screenshot alone, let me look at it. It's 2, 1, 1, 1, so that's 5, 10, that's a $5 pledge. So 10, 13, 18, 19, 22. He's losing $25 in this one screenshot. Which, no, not a ton, but that adds up. Like, and that's half of what I make on Patreon. Like, it's a fucked system, and they are completely ignoring everyone's concerns and valid questions on this stuff. Like, there are things in this, like, somebody did the math and it shows that Patreon is making 118% more than they used to with this new fee and everything else, because they're changing the way that charges are structured too. It's not just collecting at the first of every month anymore. It is now, if you are a per creation person, this is from what I understand from their really confusing bullshit posts. If you're a per creation creator, and you have somebody who pledges to you for $1 per creation, let's say, it's not say you made 7 things in that month and you charge $1 for each one. It is no longer they will get charged $7 at the first of the month. No. It is now you will charge them $1.38 every creation, because it's a 38-cent fee on that dollar being processed. Now, the more you pledge, the less the fee is, but before it was a one-time fee. And now it is when you sign up for a new creator, you get charged. If they're a monthly creator, you'll get charged again on the first of the month. If you're a weekly creator, the day you sign up, you'll get charged, and then you'll get charged every week after that. If you're a per creation creator, I don't even know how that works. I think it's just they charge you as if it's a creation, and then after that, they charge you every paid creation that's put up. That is a fucked system designed specifically to make them money. There's no, because if they're claiming that it's, well, because there are people who are signing up for stuff and then bouncing at the end of a month, and that's like, or before they get charged, and so they're essentially stealing content that's supposed to be for people who are paying. And I get that that is an issue. I completely understand that is an issue. I have been a part of that on accident because I signed up for somebody's Patreon and then proceeded to lose my job that week, and I forgot that I had just signed up for a new Patreon, and when the month came around, I didn't have any money, and I had accidentally, and like, I didn't look at any of the content that had gone up because I was too busy like dealing with other stuff, but like, I got a message on like the 3rd of the next month going like, hey, you didn't pay. And I was like, oh, fuck. And like canceled my pledge. But I can see people doing that on purpose too, where they're like, there's a lot of porn artists and like cam models and stuff who have Patreons. And I'm betting people sign up, download everything they can, and then cancel their pledge. I can absolutely see that that's happening. And I can see that that is a problem that Patreon needs to correct, but this is not the way to do it. Adding an extra like, they don't need to add the extra service fee to correct this. You can have, like, they introduced a thing where you could set it to, oh yeah, you can charge the first of the month, like, or the first time when somebody signs up, so that it's like, so you're sure that you're going to get the money for that time that they are a patron, which is fine. I was fine with that change because it made sense. But this change, where they're doing multiple small fees or charges so that they can rack up more fees after adding on this new fee structure, is what's fucking with me on this. And the fact that they don't even allow creators to go, no, I'll eat the fee. I'll eat that service charge on my end. It's fine. Because I wouldn't care personally. I've kept that in my budget this entire time. Like, my Patreon now makes like $50 even. At the end of the month, if they hadn't changed this, if they hadn't made this structure different, on the first, I would get something like 44 something, 45. But then it would also take out what I pledged from that. And that's another change too that I'll talk about in a second. But now, instead of the fees being on my end, which, again, every creator who signed up, yeah, we knew that was what it was, and we were fine with that. And that's what we've been used to, and what we budget for, and what we plan on. Now it is on the other end, and the fees are exorbitantly higher. Like, if I was making 50, and they were taking their 5% plus the cut for processing, like, credit card, and then PayPal would take its cut when I transferred from the account, from my Patreon account to my PayPal account. I was fine with that. Like, at the end of everything, and after paying my pledges and stuff, I'd get like $36.50 or something like that, at all said and done. That's okay. I'm fine with that. But the fact that they are... I guess I shouldn't say $36.50. I should say, like, it would have been $44, but then I had my pledges. But the fact that they are... Like, that right there would have been, like, $6 in fees and everything else. Now, think about this. If I was making 50 and there were $51 pledges. Let's just say that. $51 pledges on my end. Just to illustrate this. Now, each one of those pledges would be giving Patreon an extra 38 cents. So... that goes from, let's do some quick math, because my brain is not, no. So let's say 38 cents plus, or times 50. That is $19. That is an exorbitantly higher cost. Or income from pledges, from patrons. Now, that isn't exactly how it works because of the way that, like, the way it used to work was at the end of the month you'd be charged for all of the things that you were pledging to, not individual charges throughout, like, the month or whatever. So it used to be that you would get charged, like, say you have a $5 here, two $1, and a $10. You wouldn't get charged a $5 fee, two $1 fees, and then a $10 fee on your card. You would get charged for $15 or $14. I meant to have 3 ones there, but you would get charged $14 at the first of the month, and not getting charged 4 different times. With this now, you'll get charged 4 different times. At least that's the way that this system seems to work. But I'm not 100% sure because it's a confusing mess from their explanations. But that also adds in now 4 service fees on their end, which is 3 more service fees than what they were getting before. You see what I mean? This entire system is designed to make them more money and cut out $1 patrons and cut out small Patreon accounts. And they have said literally as much. And I'm going to quote this from an article that is up. That is up on. It's an essay on Patreon. I'll put a link into it because I need to go read through the whole thing. But this is an actual quote from Patreon in this essay. We'd rather have our GVM be made up of fewer but truly life-changed creators rather than a lot of creators making a few dollars. That is literally, hey, fuck anyone who's making under a certain amount of money, who has like a certain tier of creator and patron. Fuck anybody who's under that. It's so telling what this is about. This is purely a money grab on their part. They keep claiming, oh, it's all about creators. We're trying to give them more money because now instead of me taking the hit on the fees, now I'll just get the flat $50. But I don't care about that. Like, personally, my Patreon, yeah, it helps me buy food when I don't have enough money for it, and helps it pays my site cost. It pays the cost for the site, which I'm going to be talking about in a minute. And they claim it's, oh, well, it's so that we can give creators more money and so we can protect creators from content theft and stuff. But they don't need to add this service fee, and people were fine with that fee on our end before. Like, none of these changes are needed. And they keep changing their messaging on this now, too. Apparently, just now, they've changed what they're showing to... Oh my god, I'm reading a thing. The current fee structure is... The current take-home is 85 to 93% with 2 to 10% transaction fees, and Patreon's 5% fee as well. That's fine. The new Patreon fee structure is creator take-home is 95%, and then the service fee is 2.9% plus 35 cents per pledge. So that's what the thing is. It's like $1 is 2.9%, so 2.9 cents, so 3 cents plus 35 cents on a $1 pledge. Now, if you pledge $10, it'd be 2.9% of $10, which is like, 29 cents plus a 39 cent plus the 35 cent fee. So they're changing this, and the more you pledge, the less it takes, but fuck them, it's still a fucking mess. And then they have this now super really shitty long graphic that's like, it's just a fucking mess. So now it says, what does this mean for supporters at various levels? $1, you pledge $1, which is a $1.38 charge, and the creator gets 68% of that. $2 pledge is $2.41 charged, and the creator gets 79% of that. But that's still $2.41. That's still a fairly high fee. $5 pledge gets $5.50, is a $5.50 charge, and the creator gets 81% of that. And a $10 pledge is a $10.64 charge, and the creator gets 85% of that. Now, no one asked for this. No one wants it. Their messaging was super sloppy when they first put this out. They have defended this thing once already to the extreme backlash from everyone. I have still not seen someone trying to defend this who isn't working at Patreon. Also, can you not knock Luffy off of the table, the TV stand, please, Cat? I hope you heard that thud, because that was him looking at me and then knocking Luffy on the floor. Thanks, Reed, you're an ass. Anyway. But this entire thing has been a sloppy, unthought out mess. And the more they open their mouth, the more they prove that this is purely about them getting more money and cutting out small Patreon accounts and patrons. No matter what they claim, in other interviews, they're talking about how they want life-changing large goals. Fuck you. Fuck your service. Fuck your system. And fuck your changes. So, I could go on about this for hours more, but this is a fucking mess, and smarter people have done the math on this, and smarter people have talked about this. I have a lot of my own questions. Oh, I did say I was going to talk about one other thing. So before, and this is the thing that really stuck with me, that really proved to me before all of like these quotes and stuff started coming out, that they don't give a shit. They only want money. So before, it used to be, if you were a creator who also pledged to people, your pledges would come in. So like, say my $50 would come in, they'd take their service fee out. And from the money that was left, they would then take my pledges. Because the money's already in their possession, so all they have to do is move it. They don't have to, there's no service fee there. There's no service. There's no credit card processing on that again. There's nothing. The money is in their account at the time. They have to pay it out to me when I click a button or wait for 5 days. So they have the money. but they're now changing it to where you cannot use your pledge amounts to pay for your pledges. So that 50 comes into me, or 45, I guess, or whatever it is. They take 5%, whatever. So that 50 comes into me. I have to then move it to my PayPal, and then pay them again to pay my pledges, or I just pay them with my card or whatever. So specifically, they changed a system that worked fine. There was nothing wrong with that system. How is that less complicated now than it was before? How is, we have the money, we'll just move some of it right to here, more complicated than, we have this, we're going to pay you, and then you're going to move that money out, but then we're going to charge you for this other money coming in, even though we could just take it from this money that you already had with us. It's purely so they can get that fee. And you can see it. You can see it's plain, and they try to act like it's not. So, this brings me to the future of stuff, because I really do want to make my entire thing over the last month and a half, and my entire thing going forward is, I'm going to be putting a lot more time into doing this. This is still it's my hobby, but I want it to be less and less a side thing and more focused on me creating something that I can share with people, and me creating a community, because I recently started up a little Tumblr directory called QueerTube, where I just am collecting every queer YouTuber I can find that doesn't have a huge audience. Mostly because I got really frustrated with the fact, and the cat is trying to get in the fucking trash now. Reed, why are you being such an ass? Mostly because the one time I saw it was LGBT YouTube, and I was like, oh cool, I'll go check this out because I'm looking for more people to sub to. And it was literally just two gay white guys, just posts and posts of pictures of them, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I want to find more queer creators, and I don't have an audience really. Yeah, you guys exist, and I appreciate every single moment that you spend with me. But I'm not a huge YouTuber. I don't even have 500 subs. And I don't have an audience on Twitter or Tumblr or anything, but I still want to try to do something, so I created QueerTube, which is just going to be a directory that, you search, you can go to a tag in it, and if you want to find Twitch streamers, you just hit the Twitch tag, and there you go. It'll pop up the streamers that are in the directory. And if you want to check out specific kind of queer musicians that are on YouTube, you hit the music tag, and it'll bring you to those. If you want to find Let's Players, it'll bring you to that. I'm trying to set that all up, and I might actually buy a URL and just put a page on the Revs site for it as an actual directory. I'm not 100% sure. I think Tumblr might be the better place to do that. But I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I want to make community, and I want to start trying to help, in any way I can, the queer and POC, content creation, whatever you want to call it, area start to grow, because there aren't that many of us. And the ones that are here are virtually unseen because of the 20 major people who overshadow everything. And so I want to make something for that. And I want to support places like Waypoint for being really cool. And I still have my misgivings about Waypoint staff. It's still 3 dudes and 2 women, and 2 of them are queer. But that's it. And there's 1 or 2 POC there. But they're also a small team. So, but I want to support places like that, and I also want to build places that have a group of non-binary people and trans people and gay, lesbian, I want to build up communities like that. So that's what I want to do. And so that's why I'm going to be doing this stuff a lot harder in the next year. I have been trying to get better about things. I bought a new microphone over the last year. I'm trying to build a new computer right now so I can do more stuff. I'm looking into buying a camera and light and some other stuff so I can do some like live video stuff. I'm looking into options right now for my living situation to where I will have enough bandwidth to where I can stream. Because right now the only thing stopping me from streaming is not a lack of wanting to, it is purely a, if I stream, then that means I cannot upload because of Comcast bandwidth cap. Like, I scrape the ceiling of that terabyte cap every month. The only time that we have not just, we hit the 98% mark every single month that I have been here. We went over the cap once, and I have like backed off every time and kind of like meter how much I'm using, and like I've set it up to where now Windows is like, hey, you hit like 600 gig on your own, maybe chill, because we watch a lot of Netflix and Hulu and all that shit, so like that racks up bandwidth too, and streaming music and everything else. So I need to pay the extra per month to get that taken off, which I'm going to, I'm planning to. I still have to go over some stuff. But yeah, like that's an extra $50 a month that I'm going to sink into this, and I'm going to try to build a new computer so that I can have like, because my laptop is struggling, like straight up, it's a good laptop, but it is struggling to do things at this point. Frame rates dip. Some games I just can't even try playing because I know that they won't run at a decent frame rate or look good enough to bother recording them, stuff like that. Like, I'm going to be putting a lot more into this over the coming year, and the fact that Patreon is making that harder is super shitty. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm in the middle of building a thing on the Recurring V's site where there will be options if you would like to support. I wish to God that I could make this like a public thing where people can just sign up their own shit to it, but I don't have that kind of back end or money. This is me building stuff through services that I use. So there is a coffee page if you'd like to just have that as a tip jar. It's just ko-fi.com/recurring fees, and that is a $3 tip. Just buy a coffee if you'd like to. It gives me like $2.71 or something like that at the end of processing fees, and PayPal's cut and all that. It's a cool little tip jar. I like it. People have used it. It helps me. The other one is paypal.me, which is just like a straight up donation link if you want to donate like larger amounts for, say, like pieces of hardware or food or my electric bill or whatever. That is paypal.me/recurring fees. There's still the Patreon. I'm not going to be closing it because I know that is just more convenient and more trusted for people. And so I'm going to keep it up for now. I am waiting for Drip from Kickstarter to come out, which is slated for some time next year. Hopefully sooner, now that they have a market to really, really crash into. Because they could fuck Patreon's day if they don't fuck it up themselves. Like, Patreon's fucking their day up, but if Drip comes in and is a good service and they don't have all this bullshit that Patreon's doing, they will eat Patreon's lunch. Like, Patreon will die because of this. I don't foresee Patreon surviving this, honestly. So many people are leaving. They'll survive, I can't say that, but they are definitely forcing a certain community in that site. And then I've also created a thing through PayPal, because I have that option to do like a subscription thing to like the exact same as Patreon, essentially. So it's on the same page as the links to everything else, and it's just a drop-down menu. You choose one. It's the same tiers as the Patreon. It's $1, $5, 10, 25 a month, and it subscribes you to the site, and then I have paid. I'm building pages with like backlogs of things and extra stuff on there, and it's not as easy. I can't do like Patreon does, where it's just like, oh well, if you pledge $5, you only see this content. But I can set up separate pages, and if you pledge $5, I send you that link in an email or something, and like, hey, I will then email you or tweet and stuff like that when new content is up on those pages. So say you are you pledge $5 through that, I email you a thank you, which I will write myself because I don't know how to do form emails anyway, and I will say, hey, like, here's the link to the page that has your content, and stuff like that. And if it updates, I will email out, and I will tweet that things have updated, stuff like that. But I can't really put content locks on things, I don't think, through Squarespace. I'd have to look. But it's more complicated and less like secure or whatever than it is through Patreon, but it also doesn't have that fucking front end fee on the person subscribing. So I've created that. Tiers are set up the exact same for now, but I'm going to be trying to do some extra stuff, because I have total control of what's on that site, and I don't have to worry about Patreon's fucking horrible goddamn backend. Because I posted a video on Twitter the other day of, I tried making a poll to be like, hey, should I make a new backend thing for payment on my site? And the poll literally will not work. Like, creating a poll on Patreon, if I put it in the first field, it would create a third field and put a single letter into that and delete every letter I put in if I tried to put in another. Or if I put it in the second field, it would just create another field and then exit to the post button. It was a mess, and I have a video of it, and I'm able to reproduce it every time I go to that fucking webpage on multiple browsers. Their backend is shit, and it always has been. But yeah, so there's that. I'm still in the middle of building it. I'm waiting on some art and stuff, and the site will be relaunched with that. And the site will be where I post everything. Like, things will still go to Patreon. I'm not going to leave that as a barren desert. I'm going to still post things there for people who are supporting me through it. And there's not going to be like, this is exclusive to the site or whatever. Like, it's just going to be, I will be able to do more with the website. So there might be links to the website through Patreon, but I'll always have everything on both. For now, until I shut that Patreon down when Drip comes through, because I'm probably not going to keep it open. I don't know, I haven't decided on that, but that's the plan currently, is to get Drip up and running and fuck Patreon when I can. Outside of that, I need to wait for some stuff and like to see how some things go, and I'll have another episode of this up talking about some more personal things. So yeah, this has been the Gabby Rants About Patreon for a half-hour episode, huh? So yeah, that's about it for now. I'm going to probably go record, because I haven't recorded in a week, and I wanted to record over my days off, but I've been dealing with this whole bullshit and spent a lot of time doing back-end stuff on the site, and I'm gonna go record Stardew for this week. So this is what, Friday today? This will go up tomorrow, I guess. So it'll go up on Patreon tonight, and it'll go up on YouTube and stuff tomorrow. And then I will have Stardew next week again. I missed it a lot, actually. I need to finish up spring before New Year's. So yeah, I don't know. I wish this wasn't a giant problem that we had to deal with as creators, and we could just do stuff, but we can't. So Time to fix their fucking mess. Anyway, that's all, and I will probably see you within the next 2 weeks with more of this. Have a nice night, everybody, and see ya.